Hello everyone, my name is Swinder Singh. Today I will be presenting my report on improving communication between Canadian companies and Italian organizations. The focus will be on cultural differences that affect workplace communication and strategy to bridge those gaps. Introduction. In today's global economy, strong intellectual cultural communication is essential. Italy is one of Canada's key trade partners, with trade worth near $16 billion in 2024. But cultural differences can sometimes create misunderstandings. In this presentation, I will explore five important areas: context, individualization, formality, communication style, and time orientation, and show how Canadian companies can adapt when working with Italian organizations. Context. In this slide, I want to highlight that Italy is a high context culture as Edward Hall described. This means communication is often about what is not said, the gesture, the history, and the relationships play a very important role. Unlike in Canada, where we tend to be more direct, Italian may amplify their opinions instead of stating them openly, especially in sensitive or conflict situations. So, as Canadian, we need to pay close attention to non-verbal cues and indirect messages when communicating with Italian partners. Prefer communication modes. Italians generally prefer face-to-face and telephone communication over emails. Meetings are not just for business but also for building personal rapport. Visual presentations that are well designed are also appreciated, as storytelling through visual is highly valued. Another important point is that communication in Italian companies is often top-down, with senior management making most of the decisions. For Canadians, this means we should be ready to spend time on relationship building conversations before diving into business matters and use meeting to strengthen trust as well as discuss tasks. Individualization. Italy scores 76 out of 100 on individualization, which is close to Canada's score of 80. However, Italian businesses, especially family-run ones, still place a strong emphasis on group loyalty. Decision-making tends to be centralized, and workers often prefer to seek approval before moving ahead with new ideas. While collaboration is common, hierarchy play a big role, as teams are usually formed by management rather than chosen by employees themselves. Healthy competition does exist, but relationships are often considered more important than simply outperforming colleagues. Tip for Canadian organizations. In this slide, I suggest how Canadian companies can adapt when working with Italian partners. It's important to encourage teamwork but provide structure autonomy, meaning people have freedom but still within a clear framework. In Italy, leadership approval is very important, so team ideas should always be validated by senior managers before implementation. This shows respect for their hierarchy and decision making process. Formality. Italians place a lot of importance on formality in professional settings. Appearance is seen as a sign of respect and competence. Men usually wear suits and women also dress in formal business fashion. Another key point is the use of titles and surnames like Signor Rossi. Until you are invited to use first name, these formalities demonstrate respect and helps build credibility in relationships. Recommendation for Canadians. This slide highlights some key recommendations for Canadians. First, always dress well and use proper titles when addressing Italian colleagues, as these build trust and show respect. Second, avoid pressing for affect or response because work-life balance is valued in Italy. A typical workday is from 9 to 6 with a long lunch break of about 2 hours. After work, people prefer to focus on personal life. Respecting these cultural practices helps strengthen professional relationships and avoids unnecessary misunderstanding. Communication style. In this slide, I want to explain how Italians communicate in business settings. They are very expressive, using gestures, eye contact, and tone to add meaning to their words. For important discussions, face-to-face meetings are preferred. WhatsApp and phone calls are also commonly used. But emails need to remain polite and professional. It's also important to remember that first names are used only when permission is given, and it's not acceptable to message senior managers directly. Instead, we should always use the proper hierarchy and official channels. Tip for Canadian organizations. My recommendation for Canadians is to be very mindful of email style. Use clear subject lines and formal greetings so the message is respectful and professional. Avoid using slang, abbreviation, or casual language until you have built a stronger relationships. These small adjustments can help Canadian professionals come across as respectful and trustworthy in Italian business culture. Time orientation. Italy follows a flexible or polychronic view of time. This means schedules are not always strict and multitasking is common. Deadlines are often treated as soft targets, so flexibility is expected. Meetings may start late or run longer than expected, but this is not meant as disrespect. It's simply cultural. Another interesting point is that southern Italy is generally more relaxed about time than the north. For Canadians, this means it's important to stay punctual ourselves, but also remain patient and adaptable when working with Italian partners. Recommendation for Canadians. In this slide, I want to highlight practical steps for Canadians. It's important to allow buffer time in deadlines and always confirm meetings a day in advance. While being slightly late is tolerated in Italy, as Canadian organizations should still aim to be punctual, Italians also value the idea of a, which means they appreciate breaks and informal chats during work. Meetings may start late and run long, so companies need to stay flexible and patient while still showing respect for their time. Summary and next steps. To summarize, Canadian working with Italian companies should focus on building strong relationships, respecting hierarchy, dressing and communicating formally, and being flexible with time. Understanding indirect cues and expressive communication styles is also key. As next steps, I recommend intellectual cultural training for Canadian staff and creating Italy-specific communication guidelines to ensure smoother collaboration in the future. Thank you. It's all about my presentation. Thank you.